What's up everybody, Bandit here, and today is a really exciting day because behind me is a 2019 Ford Raptor. Now this is the second generation Raptor, now with the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, and it makes a whole lot more horsepower, a whole different looking package here, and all in all a very exciting truck. So let's dive into this thing. Alright, so looking down here, this is where all of the changes for this new updated version for 2019 start to become apparent. Now in here are Fox shocks like the earlier generations of the Raptor. However, here they are live valves, so they're electronically controlled. They have basically an infinite range of dampening controls and compression controls, which make for the ultimate ride. So before, they were still 3-inch diameter shocks, but these are electronically controlled for an even more controlled ride. And also, you get out here and you start to see the marker lights. Now these were also apparent on the earlier versions of the Raptor, and that's because this truck is actually 80 inches wide. It is a good bit larger than an F-150 or really any other truck out on the road, and because of that width, you'll see these marker lights all around the vehicle. So looking here at the wheel and tire setup, this is a 35-inch tall BFG KO2 wrapped around a 17-inch Ford wheel. Now this does have the beadlock look to it. I'm not sure that it actually is a true beadlock, but all in all, it does have a really nice look to it and should get this truck going in whatever terrain it needs to do. Now these are considered an all-terrain tire, not a true mud tire, but they say right here Baja Champion, and that really goes to show just what this truck is all about. Now this particular Raptor with the full 4 doors is considered the Super Crew configuration, and there's all sorts of room here in the back seat. We'll show you that in a second. Now the owner of this one did go ahead and get these rock blocks mud flaps here on this one, and I think that is key if you own a Raptor. You can really start to see the stance here and how wide these rear tires and the front tires would stick out, and they would throw up all sorts of mud and debris all over the side of your truck. However, with these, we've taken some trails all day today, and they're really keeping the rest of the bodywork pretty clean. Also, with the rock blocks ones, you do have a little bit of wiggle there. They're not quite as rigid as some other ones, so in off-road scenarios they shouldn't get nearly as banged up, and should ultimately allow you to clear those obstacles. Also on this truck, you have the side steps here. These are not sliders. They are mounted right up here in the body. We'll show you that here in a second, but these things do seem to be pretty beefy. They are coated with a bedliner type material, give you good grip, and they also have the Raptor logo right here above, or right below the rear door, excuse me. But moving here to the back, this one also has the appearance package with the decals here, and you can see that there is a little bit of a textured decal here. This is all new for 2019. Has a really great look to it, really breaks up the blue paint color, and ultimately I think it looks pretty good. It's also carried around here on the hood. You might be able to see that as well on either side of this heat extractor, which keeps the power plant here, that 3.5 liter V6, nice and cool. So from this view here, you can really start to see that width difference that we were just talking about, these stretch marks that are on either side of your headlights. And moving back here, this is the same cab that you'd find on a normal F-150, but you can really start to see how those hips really stick out to allow for the wider track width and ultimately better off-road capability when you start getting in the faster off-road sections. Now moving here on the interior of the truck, you can see the 4 performance door sill plates there, but all in all, it's still a really nice place to be. Now it does have Raptor logos, it does have the red stripe on the steering wheel so you can find the center line, but all in all, this is exactly like any other high-end F-150. It's a really nice place to be and a really nice place to spend time. Now another new item here on the 2019s is this little bit of cloth here. It has a little bit of a grip to it, but basically Ford is saying this will help hold you in your seat a little bit better, and also it will take away from some of the wear marks that they were getting here on the earlier versions of the 2nd gen Raptor. But overall, if you're into Ford trucks especially, this is a very familiar place to be, and also ultimately a really comfortable place to spend time. So same thing here with the back seat. Again, I am just slightly over 6 feet tall, and knee room back here is amazing. I mean, it feels like your living room couch back here. You could go all the way across the country and never get tired of being in the back seat of this truck. So here's some more of those marker lights that we were just talking about, and as you can see, we move across the grill here, there's even more of them. All in all, this truck is surrounded front, back, and on the sides with all these marker lights, really displaying the width of the truck. Now also you can see there's a really nice lighting element in here. It is all LED and overall completes the truck with a more modern look compared to the outgoing Raptors. So it's not until you stand beside this thing that you really start to get the full magnitude of its size. Now I'm just slightly over 6 feet tall and I feel tiny compared to this Raptor. Now in here, tucked underneath, up against the firewall, is the Ford Performance twin turbo 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine, making around 450 horsepower and well over 500 foot-pounds of torque, making this big old beast a really fast big old beast. Now you can see you have your air inlet here. It goes into a single air cleaner, and then it has sort of what I would call a Y pipe going to each turbo. Now there is a turbo on either bank, and actually one really new and interesting item that we found on this 2019, this engine cover is actually foam. You can see it has a squish to it. It is flexible. I've been told that these are a really hot commodity, and if you don't have one of these on your EcoBoost Raptor, you need to get one because they are the latest craze when it comes to Raptor fanboys. But all in all, this is a pretty exciting new truck, has all sorts of horsepower and off-road capability to match. So let's get this thing out on the road and see exactly how it does. Baja mode, and you're going just normal automatic transmission, right? Yep. All right. Wow.
Yeah, we gotta slow down.
That is way faster. So Baja mode is legit. Basically what Baja mode does, it does sort of like an anti-lag type system. It keeps those turbos spooled up, so as soon as you're ready to get on it, all of that power is right there. Obviously with this 3.5 liter EcoBoost, it does rely a lot on those turbos, but man, when they're spooled up, this thing really rips. So we'll do one more pull here in Baja mode, see how it does. Oh boy. Wow. Just, wow. This is really something. Y'all can say all you want to about the Raptor, but for those of you who actually have a Raptor and use it for what it is capable of, and you don't walk away with a smile on your face, I guarantee you're doing something wrong. This is incredible. So we did those couple pulls there, and we've been driving it around here all morning, and you can see that the intake temperature there is getting up into 140s and even above, and that's really where this engine starts to sort of decline. When it starts to get heat soak issues, obviously as you can see, it definitely still pulls, but with a cooler intake temperature there, that would definitely help you out to get the most horsepower out of this motor. So other things that are new here for the 2019 Raptor is the trail control, which, you know, Toyota has their crawl control. Every brand has their own idea behind this, but basically it's an off-road type cruise control. And from what I've read and heard about it, it works really well. Now here we don't really have anywhere to try it, you know, no huge obstacles or anything like that. And I would say that the average person that buys one of these probably doesn't need it. But that, I can definitely see it being kind of helpful if you do get yourself in a bad situation. I mean, this is a big truck, it's a pretty expensive truck, but you know, in the scenario that you do need a little bit of extra assistance off-road, it may be worth a try. Now, the trail control does work up to 20 miles per hour, which to me seems a little bit scary, to be completely honest with you. If you don't know what you're doing off-road and you're gonna let the truck basically take over and all you're controlling is the steering wheel, 20 miles an hour is moving along pretty good for basically having very little control over your truck, and I'd be a little bit hesitant to set it that high. Now, in other companies and other manufacturers, you may only be able to set it up to 5 and 10 miles an hour. I think that's probably a better speed if you do need to use it. Now, some other issues that do arise here with these Raptors. Going on the Raptor forum, obviously, it's like going on any other online public forum. People complain about everything. I can tell you, at least here in this truck, I'm having an awesome time. The fit and finish seems good. The quality seems great. It certainly feels like it is worth its price tag. But one issue that does keep coming up is the fact that these things are known to burn a little bit of oil when they're new. Now, we were actually curious about this, and we got out the owner's manual and did a quick brief read through there, and actually Ford says it's pretty normal. It looks like here for the first 3,000 miles or so, until the engine begins to break in, it is expected to burn just a little bit of oil, and that is all normal. Now, obviously, you don't want to run your truck out of oil, and if all things are breaking in accordingly, it shouldn't run out of oil. But a little bit of oil burn for the first couple thousand miles is perfectly normal. Now, they do also say that the normal break-in for this truck is around 1,000 miles, so you don't want to go completely hammer down there in the first thousand miles or so, but overall, once you get past that, it is just a joy to drive this thing. Now, obviously, the fuel economy isn't great. I think if you can get one of these and get anywhere close to 15 to 16 miles an hour, you're probably doing something pretty good. But overall, this truck does still have the dual nature of all the other EcoBoost engines that Ford makes. It can be very potent, it can make a lot of horsepower, but all in all, when you are off it and just cruising around, it settles down into a pretty tame beast. You can get reasonable fuel economy out of this thing. It is fairly tame, it's not very loud, and overall a very comfortable truck just to cruise around in. So we're at just over a third of a tank here. We're gonna go ahead and fill it up. 93 premium with Exxon fuel. See how it goes.
This is where I start telling you something that sounds like a dream come true. My Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Just keeps going.
Yeah.
Too close. Oh, $70. Oh my goodness. For 2/3 of a tank of fuel. We'll cry about it another time.
That's not the worst one either.
That's not getting old anytime soon. But basically, straight line performance is not what this truck's all about. It is a true off-road truck, and at least in my opinion, you need to want it to be an off-road truck to own this thing. Now, these things do not come cheap. From what I've seen, the base price for a Raptor is around $55,000. But I was just talking with the owner here. We have never ever seen a Raptor for $55,000. Between dealer markups and just all the options that you can find on one of these Raptors, they do normally work out to be considerably more expensive than this. And the reason for that is, obviously there are options, there are dealer markups, but basically, for the average person, $55,000 is already a pretty expensive truck. And if you have that much money to spend, you're gonna go ahead and spend a little bit more to get the creature comforts. I think that's basically our opinion that we worked out. And really that makes a lot of sense. This truck is not the most capable half-ton truck in terms of true truck functions that Ford makes. The F-150 just standard EcoBoost motor does tow better, it has more payload, and you know, it is basically a better truck. This is a much better toy. You know, after spending the first half of the day with one, I can guarantee you that there's no other F-150 that you'll drive that you'll be smiling this big every time you take off. It just has a presence about it. It's a blast to drive, and overall, it's just a whole lot of fun. But you do need to want it to be an off-road truck for this all to make sense. Now, also, the owner is coming from a TRD Pro Tacoma, one of the third gens of that, and that was a good truck for him. You know, it did everything he wanted to do, and that was the top dog of the Tacoma lineup. This being the top dog of the F-150 lineup, it's just that much better. Obviously, the price reflects that, but this is a whole lot of fun just to ride around in. But also, It's not just more fun, it also comes with more truck capabilities. Now obviously the Tacoma is a midsize, this is a half-ton, but this still does tow more and it still does haul more, even with the Fox shocks that both trucks are equipped with. Now the Raptor, when it first came out, with that big boisterous V8 and all of the off-road credibility that it came along with, it certainly attracted a pretty big crowd. Now when this truck came out with the 3.5 liter EcoBoost motor, the V6 as the only option, the V8 was gone at that point, it kind of made some people pretty unhappy. You know, it doesn't make the same V8 roar. It does have a little bit of augmented sound going here along with it, so what we hear inside the cabin is a little bit different than what you hear outside. But really, if you want one of these trucks to be a true sport truck, a true off-road truck, and you want the best possible capability out of it, this is the way to go. This twin-turbo EcoBoost, it's faster, it has more power than the V8, and all around, it's just a much more livable truck to be with from everything we've heard. Here with the 10-speed automatic, it really cruises around great. It spends a lot of time down there in those lower gears when you try out the different modes here, and that's another thing we didn't talk about a whole lot yet. Baja mode, sport mode, rock crawling mode, whatever you want to do with this truck, it is set up to do it. But you know, it spends a lot of time down there in those lower gears, which really help with acceleration. But then when you're cruising around here, you know, we're spending most of the time while filming this video here in 9th and 10th gear, which is really great for your fuel economy. So looking at the Monroney here, you can see that this price of the vehicle was around $75,000, and that's before any sort of dealer markup. Now, dealer markups on these can be north of $5,000, and I was told that this vehicle was listed at around $80,000 from the local dealer. Now you can see here that the base price for the Super Crew is only just under $56,000, which is way less than this total price. The problem is finding a base Raptor is nearly impossible, and unless you special order it, you're almost always assured to get one with these sort of options. Now you can nitpick this truck all that you want to, but if that's really the only negative thing you have to say about it, really not all that bad. Now again, when these second gen Raptors first came out here with this EcoBoost motor, they had a plastic oil pan for the engine, which seems to me like a huge oversight by Ford. Now obviously here on the 2019s that was fixed. They do have a metal oil pan now, but there's all kinds of these small nitpicky things that people like to tear this truck apart for. You know, whether you think the interior isn't special enough, or you think the exterior looks dumb, or you don't like the engine note or whatever else, those are all preconceptions of the truck. And to be completely honest, I had some of those as well. But this is a lot of fun, and really when you get in it, a lot of those preconceptions really do fade away. At the end of the day, this is a whole lot of fun. It is a toy, and I think you definitely need to accept that. But if you're willing to spend this much money on a car or a truck, this would be the way I would do it. You know, a properly fitted Corvette would be this price or considerably more. And for me, living in the Southeast, I think I would definitely have more fun here in this Raptor. But that pretty much wraps up everything we have to talk about for this video. Thank you all very much for watching. As always, be sure to subscribe and like this video, as well as leave all of your comments down in the comment section. We really look forward to hearing from all of you. But thank you all very much for watching. Have a fantastic week, everybody. We'll catch you next time.